muscles. But I got fired. Hey guys, it's Robert Gardner with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. Very happy to have Abraham Martinez, the massage warrior, on the podcast. We met down at the AMTA convention in El Paso. Really excited to chat with Abraham. And then can you tell the audience a little bit about you and maybe like how you got into massage?
Abraham Martinez, Word Therapeutic Services, and I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. And honestly, it was kind of one of those, I used to work out a lot when I was younger, and I got into boxing. This one trainer put me together in like 15 minutes. And honestly, from there on, I was hooked. I didn't know what he did. I'd been in a fight, a really good one for a long time, and I couldn't recover from it. But this dude in 15 minutes put me back together. And I was like, what did this guy do? He just put his hands on me. And from there on, I was kind of blown. When you recover that fast, I got this hunger for it, you know?
Yeah. What was the problem that you had?
So in the fight, this dude had beat up my kidneys really bad. And what happened to me was I just got a whole bunch of blood in my urine. I had blood in the intestines, you know. And so he did an aggressive lymphatic massage on me, which I later learned. And I mean, he flushed me like really fast. I was able to throw punches again. I actually got in the ring. I got my confidence back, but it just never left me, you know. I could never compute like what he did that fixed me and how he just jump-started my metabolism again. I was just mind blown. Like, well, what did this guy do? Like, how did he do it? And so that kind of started the quest for learning about it, learning about the body. I learned about the liver. It's the only organ in our body to regenerate itself. And so that also set up like my mindset. It changed about boxing. Yeah. It was more clinical, my approach, the way I had to learn about the body. And that's kind of what sparked it for me. But when I really got back into it, I mean, my wife was the one who pushed me into education. She's like, hey, you love this stuff. You should just go check it out and try it out. And then bam, she was right, man.
Yeah, this is a conversation I have with students regularly. I think based on what I saw of your social media, you do more like kind of chronic pain sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you get bored if you get people who just want relaxation?
I used to, because I only knew one modality for relaxation, which was Swedish.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was very pampering and soothing. And so that was boring, but mostly because it was my foundation for things. Now it's different. I mean, if you want to relax, it's going to be a whole different kind of relaxation, man. Like, because I do energetic work too. So like Reiki. I mean, I bombard people with relaxation. Yeah. And sometimes they don't even know, they've never experienced anything like that. So when they completely pass out and then they wake up all startled, like, what happened? It's like, it's the first time that you've ever fully relaxed.
I think about it as an educator as well, because when I deal with students, you're dealing with a broader section of like the massage culture. And I think some things that are confusing to students, if people see my videos, they see me teaching. So they get a notion that when I work, it's mat-based and I'm talking. But even when I've got a client who's got a problem, and let's say they have like, I don't know, a bad rotator cuff problem, I'm going to work on that for probably 90 minutes of that 3 hours. I'm going to start with this, do about 45 minutes, and then back off and do the relaxation portion. Now, this is all improvised, you know, in the moment, but the relaxation component isn't effleurage. It's more mat-based high. It's rhythmic compression, rocking, stretching, movement. And then I go back into the rotator cuff again and then smooth it out for the last, 45 minutes, something like that. I'm quiet and they're like, I don't believe it. I had an experience with cranial sacral therapy, which I'm still a big fan and proponent of. So clothes on, no necessary like oils. And I had a case of TMJ dysfunction and a craniosacral therapist put on gloves and went in my mouth and worked on my jaw. And I just freaked out. It was so different than what I just learned in school that I was like, well, what is this? I don't like, it didn't even conform to like normal parameters. So I had a sense that not only was there massage, but there was this other stuff that was on the periphery. So I really started looking for the stuff on the periphery and then was mixing and matching and blending to essentially create the new service that I've developed. And that's caused some confusion because when the mainstream industry is focused on effleurage and focused on a spa-based service or you getting a job, let's say at a large chain, they need the massage to be fairly standardized. But all of the artistic body work, which I suspect based on the social media I've seen from you is probably much more where you are. The conversation between, as an educator, teaching sequences and improvisation. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And I do this for so long, for now, it's been 20 years, that I don't think about it.
What I've learned now is that instead of creating little ripples, like now I can make gigantic tsunamis of change in people because of how much more movement your stuff requires, and with a lot less effort too. And have you found that when you're in a more creative or environment, right, when you're just doing your thing, that you discover a lot more about a person than you would normally? What's it called, like a standardized type of massage?
I see this as an educator, and one of the things that I think has gotten me into trouble over the years is in social media posts, I can be a little gruff or brisk, just kind of like to the point.
Yeah.
And when I work on clients, the focus was never really to deliver a massage. The focus was to help the client with the problem they came in for, which was either pain relief or relaxation. And if it was pain relief, I was like a mechanic. I mean, everybody who came in, I had to deliver the best session you'd ever had to help you with that shoulder pain, to be able to outperform everybody around me. And I felt like almost like a hitman. Like I had just had massive amounts of focus. And the client slowly, as I gained more skill and practice, they were like, dude, I've never had a massage like that. Where did you learn that? And I went, oh, a drunk driver taught it to me in college. Because you had injuries or whatever happened from boxing, right? So your own body was like the greatest teacher in a sense, because you learned about structure and function and like movement and range of motion or whatever. I say this to students in class. Are you dealing with education at this point? Are you teaching massage therapists?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So one of the things that I tell people is, if you're going to get involved in education, you have to get comfortable repeating yourself. And don't feel like, well, they've already heard that. No, they haven't. I have to say stuff like, I do this in class all the time. Muscles cause movement. We're going to use movement to access those muscles from origin to insertion. Basically, it's like your bicep. Like, you can access it by compression, but what's the difference between accessing it by lengthening it first? Because the students always think I'm delivering some magic technique or something, and it's like, I have to deliver the technique that allows Abraham to relax, release, and unwind. He might respond better to rocking than he does to compression. And they're like, well, how do you know? I'm like, I communicate with Abraham. The communication with chronic pain is more intense. It's very like, okay, right here, is it a little more down, or does it feel like more up? Cool. Is it more lateral, or is it right there? Cool. Okay. Is it localized, or are you getting referred? No, like, no, I feel it down my arm. I'm like, where to? That kind of communication completely changed. To me, I tell the students, like, the most advanced technique is communication. It's amazing to me, educating and teaching all these years later, where I'm trying to hone this down into these little like Twitter bites that people can feast on, because the therapist constantly, if they're in that box of like table, cream, glided, nudity, they encounter my work and they're like, this is crazy. He like talks to the clients. And I'm like, I got to find out what's effective for them. And sometimes, even with a thorough intake, like, you can work on the bicep, but then taking their arm and turning it this way as opposed to turning it that way can make all the difference. And I can't teach a sequence on that. Does it make sense? Yeah,
definitely. If we're not talking to them consistently, they're never really going to tell us in how much pain they are. That's one thing I learned about clients, is that when you start working on them, they still have this stigma where they need to just shut up. That's what I like about doing the tissue work, is that you have this whole memory bank inside of your tissues. And when you access it, people are like, whoa, it's waking up again. I'm remembering all this crap that actually happened in that area, and I'm finally getting to work on it. So yeah, man, I completely agree with you when you say that communication is key, because our whole body is a communication network, from fascial tissue to the nervous system. It all talks to itself.